3 Listens Live.
And welcome to Wave 3 Listens Live. I've been looking forward to this show because we've got lots of great guests lined up in 2013, and today is no exception. In fact, I've been trying to get my first guest on for quite a few months. This is Dr. Eli Karam. Dr. Karam is a Louisville native. He's been back in town since 2008. He has been an advocate for his profession, both on television, newsprint, radio. I think you are really the voice I like hearing when it comes to relationship therapy, and specifically MFT.
Yeah.
So first of all, Dr. Karam, before we get into all this, so glad you're here in Louisville.
Good to see you, John.
And I want to talk a little bit about your resume. Now, you're an assistant professor at University of Louisville.
Yep.
And it's the School of Kent, right?
Kent School of Social Work, right?
Okay, Kent School. Also, you're the president of the KMFT. And for our viewers out there who are not familiar with your organization, define that for me a little bit.
Yeah, the KMFT is the Kentucky Association for Marriage and Family Therapy. So that's why we're here. We're going to be here pretty much every other Thursday for the rest of the year, and we're going to be talking about relationship health. We're going to be talking about the profession of marriage and family therapy, John, and how that is different than psychology or social work. Marriage and family therapy, for the viewer out there, sees people in all of their interpersonal context, meaning what's going on at home, what's going on with your coworkers, if you have a child, what's going on at school. So not just looking at the person in isolation. Marriage and family therapy also sees health and strength. So if you have a problem, people we know are not their problems. Everybody gets stuck. So marriage and family therapy is going to look at you from a health perspective, and it's going to say, where are these normal developmental family milestones, individual milestones where people get stuck? Let me give you an example, John. So birth of a child. We know there's a lot of good research that marital satisfaction, sexual satisfaction, everything kind of plummets. So the idea is, if you have the information, if you go and see a marriage and family therapist, you know what to expect, and you can rebound from these predictable type of roadblocks. Another example, after a loss of a job or after a divorce, these are particular roadblocks that anybody would get stuck. Anybody would feel a little depressed. So the important thing is to know there is no stigma around going to see somebody, and marriage and family therapists are trained not just to see couples or families. That's a stigma, this idea that you have to be in a relationship to see a marriage and family therapist. Marriage and family therapists see people from this relational point of view, and all the research says most MFTs in Louisville and nationally see over 50% individuals in their practice. So you do not have to be in a committed relationship or a couple to go and see a marriage and family therapist.
Now, Dr. Karam, do you find that most of us have the skill set to actually make positive impact with your direction, with a licensed marriage or family and marriage therapist?
Sure.
And this is something I like about you, and I don't mind saying on camera here, I have actually met with my wife, and I have met with Dr. Karam, and you've been very discreet. You told no one this when you came in. But with that being said, I was very impressed with the fact that you really looked at the positives in our relationship and said, here's what we're going to build on. Here's, John, what you need to work on. You know, Jill, here's what you need to work on. And you pointed out some things that weren't so obvious to me. Because I think sometimes for you as a therapist, you say, okay, this relationship's damaged, here's the reason. And it may seem like common sense to some folks. But if you're in that relationship, sometimes is there such thing as saying maybe you're too close to it?
Yeah, I call it being in the bubble of your own relationship. And when you're in the bubble, you don't know what's normal and what's not. So successful couples, I also say, I've never seen any marriage, any committed relationship where one person is 100% of the blame. So we know if a couple can understand their cycle, what you do that triggers your partner, and you can kind of take accountability for your part, and they can take accountability for their part, that is kind of the difference that makes a difference. So when you come in to see a marriage and family therapist, they're going to understand the specific dance that you and your partner do if you're a couple, or you and your family do if you have a teenager and you're having conflict, and they're going to help you tap into what you already have, like you said, because most people do have the skills. They just get demoralized at some point, and the job of a MFT is to kind of remoralize you, if you will.
What are some of the issues that you handle? I would think, you know, obviously depression, obesity, alcoholism, and as you said, it's not the individual. Although you may be interviewing an individual, it's really about the relationships and everyone who surrounds them, correct?
Yes, you're right. So MFTs are going to see a range of problems, and MFT, marriage and family therapy, has been proven effective, like you said, with very different types of populations. In fact, if you're depressed and you have marital conflict, there's a lot of research that says you got to bring your partner. You have to learn the skills to kind of fight fairly, and that's what we're going to do on this show too in the next couple of weeks. weeks, you, the viewer, should be able to watch these segments, get some tips, and then be able to kind of see it being done and go home and practice it with your partner. So you get some tips when you watch this, and it kind of destigmatizes mental health and what marriage and family therapy is. I'll give you another example. Sometimes people will bring a marriage and family therapist to see a lot of teens and adolescents too. The difference between a marriage and family therapist, John, and an individual counselor or psychologist, parent says, my teenager's acting out. They drop the kid off at the therapist's door and they say, fix my kid. And MFT doesn't work that way. MFT says, no, I need to see you, because probably what's going on with your kid has something what's going on with you and your wife, what's something that's going on at school, so I need access to your whole family. So a marriage and family therapist is going to work in the beginning. If you call and you make an appointment, they're going to talk to you on the phone, they're going to get a sense for who you are and what's going on, and they're going to probably encourage you to bring in as many people as possible. We call that the interpersonal premise, and the idea that if you can do the work there, if you're depressed and I'm working with you and teaching you these skills, that's great. But if I can do it with your wife there, and she can learn a little bit about it too, so it's not going to get lost in translation when you get home, that actually is more bang for your buck, if you will. So we believe in the interpersonal premise, and we believe people are healthy, just stuck until proven otherwise. That doesn't mean marriage and family therapists are going to ignore a mental illness or some type of psychopathology. It does mean they're going to see you for your strengths. They're going to see you for what you had to offer. And even now, if you're down, they're going to tap into previous strengths that you had. And really, most people, sometimes the difference that makes the difference, John, is just picking up that phone and calling and going from, again, demoralized to remoralized.
Well, that's something I wanted to talk about. Nice segue. Thank you very much, Dr. Karam. What's the first step? Obviously, we have viewers out there who are going, you know what, I have a few issues in my relationships. They want to talk about it. They want to get better. I like your style. I like the way Dr. Karam is delivering this here. I want to talk to a marriage or family therapist.
Yeah.
What first step number one would be? Do you have a website? Is there a phone number?
Yes. We're gonna tell you how to do that. The best thing to do is you can go two places. You can go to www.kamft.org, and this is going to be our website. And there is, you can see on there, if you go, there is a public page. There is a page for professionals. And people say, how many marriage and family therapists are there in Kentucky? Well, there is about a little under 400, about 386 that belong to our association, and most of them are, centered right here in the Louisville area. The majority of them in our central region. So you can go and check everything you need to know about what to look for in a therapist, and then you want to think about, before you make the call, before you find out who, how would you describe your situation? So that's the first thing you're going to ask. What's going on? Why do you want to come in and see me? And then once you've done that, you can go to www.therapistlocator.net. And this is the national kind of clearinghouse for all licensed marriage and family therapists. So remember, some people say, well, I don't know, a counselor is just a counselor. And what we're talking about is a very special training. A marriage and family therapist has had 2 to 3 years of graduate work and 2 to 3 more years of supervised postgraduate experience. And it's fine when you're interviewing someone. Some people would like a younger therapist. Some people would like someone more seasoned. So it's up to you to find your fit. And you can find out a lot about a therapist when you make that call. When you go to Therapist Locator, you can search by zip code. You can search by their last name if you know. Any MFT should be able to talk to you. They should be able to answer any questions about their practice. What people want to know is, can I use insurance? Yes, most MFTs are on pretty much every major insurance panel. They want to know, do you have evening appointments? Most MFTs, if you're going to work with couples and families, do have some evening availability. They want to know, how long will this take? Well, that's a tough one to answer, because every family, every case is different. But most people, therapy can be brief, is that we start with the kind of presenting problem, we work from there. It means we don't dig in the past unless there's a reason to. So most people come in with a clearly defined issue and we go from there. But another question we get, John, is what if I want to go but my spouse does not want to go? That happens a lot with couples. And in a situation like that, you have to be able to frame to your spouse why it's important. Because we believe if you can start off as a couple, especially if it's a relational problem, you should be seen as a couple. Because sometimes if we do marital therapy or couples therapy for one, what it serves to do is strengthen that one person, make them feel good about themselves, and then they say, well, my partner's not getting on board. So what might be good for the individual, we know might not be good for the couple. So I always tell the straggler, you want to be here. If your partner is coming in, you want to be here, at least to meet the therapist, to get a sense of what's going on. So therapist locator gets you a good idea of kind of what you're looking for, male, female. There are male therapists, there's more female therapists, both locally and nationally, but you can find your fit. And you should ask people, you know, what their specialty is, how they work. You can ask as many questions as you want on the phone in a phone call, because that's where therapy actually really starts. You start building your alliance right from that first phone call. So if someone won't talk to you, if they don't have time to talk to you, it's probably not a good fit. So you should be able to feel free to ask what you want to ask.
All right, Dr. Karam, we have a few callers here, and although my screen is not working, so I'm not sure who we're talking to, but we're going to go to the phones if you're okay.
Let's do it.
I'm going to put you on the work. I have Margot on line 1 here, and Margot, first of all, welcome to the show. Hello, Margot. Margot.
Hello.
Hello, Margot, go ahead.
Hi. I'm calling. I'm trying to talk to the doctor. I want to ask a question. It's about me and my husband just recently got married about 7 months ago, and we were both in alcoholism before we got married. We decided to get ourselves together and then get married and start life all over again. But now I'm going through problems with my husband as far as he's very protective. He doesn't want me to go anywhere by myself. He doesn't want me to work, and he's just not the man that I thought he would be once we got clean, and I get depressed a lot, and I don't know how to talk to him because he's a very aggressive man.
Interesting.
Yeah, Margot. So a couple things. You did say you and your spouse are now alcohol-free, correct? Is that what you said?
Right.
Okay. So that's
yes.
a good thing. But you're right. When one or both people have an alcohol or substance abuse problem, it's really hard to get a real sense of what that relationship is like. So in some ways, you are just figuring it out now. And you have a lot of power and control issues, it seems like. So the best thing to do would be able to go and see a marriage and family therapist and learn basic communication, problem-solving skills, and how to fair fight. In fact, if you watch the next couple of Thursdays on the program, I'm going to talk with John about how to do that. We're going to talk about how to take a time out. We're going to talk about how to kind of stand up for yourself without putting your partner down. But you certainly do not want to stay in any relationship that's abusive. We know safety is defined 3 ways, Margot. It's like physical safety, is my spouse, keeping his hands to himself. Emotional safety, and that means, will they not hit below the belt, metaphorically, not use my vulnerabilities against me. And then the third type of safety, not as many people talk about, is this idea of commitment safety. When it gets rough, are you going to bail on me? And sometimes in relationships where we have a lot of stormy and chaotic stuff, people threaten that a lot. I'm leaving, I'm out of here. And none of those are good, stable base to start a relationship. So I hope you and your spouse can go and see someone and get some of these foundational skills that we're going to talk about.
All right, Dr. Karam, I'm so glad you're not going to bail on me. We're here for 30 Thursdays together.
That's right, my friend.
This is going to be a very look forward to and highly anticipated part of the show. So here we go, really quickly, KAMFT at InsightBB.com,
yes,
correct?
You can send all your questions in there, and a lot of times we're going to talk about a lot of hot topics driven by you, the viewer. So if you have a question for me, a topic you want to talk about, please send it to KAMFT at InsightBB.com, and we will be here most Thursdays.
All right, marriage and family therapist, Dr. Eli Karam. Look forward to him every Thursday. Look forward to your phone calls as well. 571-5263. Coming up, the Fund for the Arts is launching their 2013 campaign. We want to get you involved. You love the arts, you love the ballet, you love the opera. You can be part of it. We'll be right back with Barbara Sexton Smith on Wave 3 Listens.